Good morning, everybody. It's Friday, April 17th, and I'm Dan Brown. Recently, I read a fascinating article about two iconic men who were from the same town, but who were as different as night and day, at least on the surface. One was the late Fred Rogers, better known to most of us as Mr. Rogers, who raised a couple of generations of children with his well-known television show. The other was the late Arnold Palmer, arguably one of the top 5 greatest golfers of all time. Although both grew up in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, both attended Latrobe High School, and both were Presbyterians. Their backgrounds were very different. Fred Rogers came from an affluent family. His father owned a couple of manufacturing companies, and his mother was a well-known philanthropist. As a child, Fred was a victim of bullying and suffered from asthma. As a result, he spent most of his summers as a child inside and studied music and the arts. Later, he pioneered child psychology based on social emotional development and taught that people were open to learning when they felt loved and affirmed. Arnold Palmer's parents came from the other end of the economic spectrum. His father was a golf pro at the local country club, and Arnold learned to use the service entrance until one day he owned the entire club. As a child, instead of spending his summers inside, he spent his summers as a caddy, carrying other people's clubs when he wasn't sneaking onto the golf course to play a round of golf himself. On the surface, they could not have been more different. But below the surface, they shared some common qualities. Both gave back to the world, which had given so much to them. Both shared a common commitment to penmanship, answering every letter everyone ever wrote to them. And both had a deep respect for other people. Each became defined by their humility, warmth, and empathy for others, wrote Jerry Tardy. And then he added, two men from the same place, different as could be, found a common answer to today's problems in the way they consistently treated other people with kindness. I have been thinking a lot about that story these last couple of weeks, and I have been thinking about kindness a lot. I suspect most of us would agree that until recently, kindness hasn't gotten much press. Rudeness, self-centeredness, and getting one's own way were what got the headlines. But situations like COVID-19 have a way of bringing out the best in people who have the best in them. I have been struck, as I'm sure many of you have, at the number of people who have risked their lives to be a source of healing to others, or to make sure food makes it to our tables, or just to make sure that life goes on and the world continues to turn. I have also been thinking about what it means to be an instrument of kindness for the average person. During this time of sheltering in place, simple things like calling to check on others who may be among the most vulnerable, or writing a handwritten letter to someone who is living alone can mean more than we can ever dream possible. During this time, when stress is high and our nerves can be frayed, kindness may look like taking a deep breath and thinking about the tone we use when we respond to members of our own family. The Apostle Paul once listed the fruit of the Spirit. Among other things, he said, the fruit of the Spirit is kindness. In other words, kindness is not just a common courtesy. It is the way we give expression to our love for Christ. Stay safe and have a great day.